Welcome to Joshua 2415 Outdoors, proudly in partnership with Christian Bow Hunters of America.
Yeah. And we're rolling.
All right.
So at any point in time we want to come up with something, then this is truly organic then.
Completely organic podcast. Well, we know that this is going to drop for Easter, so I mean, we want to for sure
tie that in somehow.
Well, I mean, the most important thing in our lives is the resurrection of Jesus Christ, because if there was no resurrection of Jesus Christ, none of this other stuff would matter.
Correct.
So, we know that he went and he paid with his blood, that he went through all of that, and he died that cruel death. And then he was put in that tomb, and 3 days later, they came back and he was gone. He had resurrected himself. He had brought himself back to life. And through that, we now have the opportunity to have that free gift of eternal life. And beyond that, nothing else is important. Our families' lives aren't important. Our jobs aren't important. Our outdoor activities aren't important. Nothing is important without that right there, because that is eternity. This is temporary.
It has no meaning. None of that has any meaning. Us doing outdoors, us going out and enjoying creation has no meaning without the one who created it, without the resurrection of Jesus Christ, the one who gave us the salvation that we have for those of us who believe in him and grow in a relationship with him. Without that, everything means nothing.
Well, yeah, because if there was no resurrection of Jesus Christ, then why should we even believe that there was a creation?
Then
why should we believe anything?
Exactly. There's eternal damnation.
I believe that there is. I believe that it was created. I believe that there's a perfect God. I believe his son came to this earth, and I believe that his son was born of a virgin. I believe that his son paid for our sins, and I believe that he was killed on a cross. I believe he rose on the third day. I believe he ascended to heaven. I believe that he paid the atonement for our sins, and he was sufficient to pay for the atonement for our sins, and that through that I can live a life here while I'm on earth for him and enjoy the things that were created here for me to utilize and enjoy. And at the end of this life, go on to eternity to worship him. And if he has a spot I can bow hunt up there, that's great. I'm not complaining.
Let's go. Yeah.
But if all that eternity is worshiping Jesus Christ, that is perfect. That is perfect.
I concur. Thinking about last week's episode, when we kind of was a precursor to this week and Easter coming up this Sunday, we talked a lot about the spring and new life growing in the spring. As we sit here talking, I can think about how that also relates to resurrection, right? The fall comes, everything dies. And then the spring gets here and it's resurrected.
Right.
There's new life that springs forth. That's kind of, I don't want to be repetitive, but you can use that same analogy that we used last week to talk about the new life that comes forth every spring, to say that.
Bless you.
Want to cut that out?
No, just leave it. It's organic. Remember? That stuff all over the door is organic too.
To say that in the fall all that dies, and in the spring comes and all that is resurrected and it becomes new life yet again. That is I feel like that's a very good analogy to use as well. Good imagery.
And I just thought of something else, and it's just happened because of the last couple nights. It
had nothing to do with that organic sneeze, right?
Nothing to do with the organic sneeze, nothing to do with the organic material that's all over the door of the podcast room.
I know we're all about painting pictures, but we don't have to go that far.
Let's see. Okay, the last 2 nights, we've had a deep frost. No, not tonight, but the 2 prior nights, we've had a deep frost. All right, well, the trees and the flowers and the grass and everything had already decided it was spring. They had already come to life. They had already budded and blossomed. Now, some of those may have been protected and not got frost on them. But a lot of those now will lose their blooms and lose their blossoms. And they may not produce fruit this year. I want you to think about that in a lot of our lives, that even after we become Christians, we may not turn solely over to God and produce fruit yet. Now we should. We should turn to Him. We should run to Him. We should study His Word. We
Absolutely.
should live for Him. But more times than not, we're not going to. But does that mean that we are dead? No, it does not mean that we're dead. We still are alive. Those trees are still alive. Those flowers are still alive that have lost their blossoms, have lost their blooms. And maybe for this season, maybe they do not produce fruit. Maybe they just produce leaves and stuff. But even in their production of leaves, then through photosynthesis, they produce oxygen and they supply nutrients and stuff. They just don't produce that fruit. Now, we need to live our life for Him. But I don't want you to be so discouraged if you're not seeing huge things in your life. I want you to strive to see huge things in your life. Because if you look back and you think, what has God done with me? Well, also think, what have I done with God? And when you can justify that you have not given your all to Him, why then would you want Him to give or expect Him to give His all to you? So if you're giving your life to Christ, or you have given your life to Christ, and you're not seeing fruit,
it's a two-way street.
It's a two-way street.
It's not a one-way.
It's maybe that frost has come into your life. Maybe you've allowed the temperature to drop enough that the frost has come in and snuffed your blossom for this year. But the thing about God's growing season is not year to year. You could have a new growing season start right now. You don't have to wait for next year.
Could be 2 or 3 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing, too, going back to what you said, producing the fruit and coming into it, diving right in and going to God. That process is different for everybody. Some people do take and go straight to God and start bearing that fruit. Some people, it takes them a while.
Yeah.
And that's just like the flowers. They may get that frost, lose their bloom. They can come back with fruit in no time. It may take some time. They may not at all for that year. That process is different for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, things are just, nothing is, the only thing that is simple is salvation. Everything else in life is hard. It's hard decisions.
And it's hard because it's worth it.
Yeah, that's right. It's right. If you're going to do it for God, it's worth it, and it's hard.
I find that saying is true. Anything worth it is never easy, period.
I would have to agree with you there. Marriage,
it's hard, but it's worth it. Christianity, it's hard, but it's worth it. Working, it's hard, but it's worth it. Anything. Fishing for bass, depends on who you are. It comes natural. Catfishing, it's hard.
Oh my gosh.
It's not worth it. Period. Not worth it. The waiting and the waiting
and the waiting. Well, I'm going to go wait Thursday night, and I'm going to go wait Friday night, and I'm going to go wait Saturday night.
There you go. You guys sounds like you got your weekend planned out.
Yeah, I kind of do.
Sounds like a whole lot of boredom, really.
Sounds like a whole lot of wonderful time on the riverbank with God. And I can't see, how God would have to look at it when you're thinking it's boredom with me, spending time with him. That just seems bad. I don't know.
No, that's why you have to talk to him, because you're bored out of your mind. You need someone to talk to.
Yeah, for sure. You're not going to be there.
Dear Lord, these catfish isn't biting. I need someone to talk to. Can you just be here?
Well, the good thing is he is ever present. He's always with me and he's ready to talk. Oh, me. You make my head hurt sometimes. Okay, you make my head hurt all the time. Not just sometimes, all the time. I'm looking right now, I'm looking at a whole bag of golf balls that I would rather just take the bag and slap myself in the head than hear you speak one more word.
Hey, well, it is what it is.
Yeah, we're doing a podcast. I guess I got to hear you speak one more word.
Oh, gosh. But, I mean, do what you got to do, I guess.
What I got to do is live for God, and he doesn't want me to hit you with that bag of golf balls, and he don't want me to hit myself with that bag of golf balls.
I believe he has a sense of humor. He's like, man, he had it coming. He just wouldn't shut up about catfishing. He had it coming.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that God likes to catfish. I'm pretty sure he's got some real good Garcia 5000 reels and some 8-foot cat rods. And
some Abu Garcias.
I tell you, I really... I know there's a huge difference in the different types of fishermen. I mean, there's guys that want to go crappie fish and just sit and drown minnows and watch a bobber. There's guys that want to go jig fish for minnows or jig fish for crappie. There's guys that jig fish for bluegill and guys that use crickets and worms for bluegill, and then there's guys that bass fish, and you got to hit it hard the whole time, and you're just pounding away, throwing. And I've done all of those things a long, long time. And there was a time that you could not have got a bass rod out of my hand. Couldn't have done it.
I love it. I love just the constant, you can throw it out there, you work it, you bring it back in, you can work yourself down the bank in no time or stay in that spot. It's just so much more of a thrill to me. I don't have anything against catfishing. As much as I give you a hard time. I love just being in the outdoors. End of story.
My favorite thing about bass fishing was just the constant, every throw, you got that feeling of this could be it.
Yeah.
Every turn of the handle.
It is. It's addicting too.
Especially crankbait fishing, which was about my favorite, because when everything's kind of slow when they hit a worm, you get to tap, 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 and then you watch your line move and you set the hook. But when you're rolling a crankbait through there, and
it's explosive.
Bass just blows it.
That's explosive.
It is such a rush when a good solid bass smacks that crankbait. I'm wanting this to happen right now just talking about it.
Right? It's even better when you're running a top water, whether it be some kind of buzz bait or a frog or now they have them floating jerk bait type things too.
There spooks.
You get one of those on there, watch that explosion happen on the surface.
Yeah.
Oh,
I remember when I was real young, and I first got to the point that I could use a bait caster. I think I was 9 when my dad finally handed me a bait caster and said, "Figure this out." And it was a Garcia, Ambassador Garcia 5000, and I can remember we were fishing all of these cypress trees in these oxbow lakes, and you had logs and everything laying around, cypress knees, and I love fishing cypress knees. It takes me back to all those times, and throwing a buzz bait back into them cypress knees and bringing that thing out with that thing just gurgling, and that blade smacking off them cypress trees. Ooh. And then getting right there toward the edge, and it just, the bottom fall out. It always reminded me of if you had just sunk a 55-gallon drum how a big bass could just annihilate that and take it down.
Yeah. That's what, man, that's to me, that's one of the best parts of bass fishing. Not that catfishing can't give you, not that catfish can't give you a fight. It's just with bass, it doesn't matter the size.
Yeah, they're ready to fight.
They're ready to take off and go, and they just feel heavier usually than what they really are.
And, and what I'm looking for in cat, I am not, I've said that before, I don't go catfishing looking for filling the freezer with catfish. I go catfish looking for a big fish. That's what I'm there for. If I catch fiddler size fish, I'm going to clean them, but I am there to have the opportunity to fight a 30 or 40 pound fish, or 20 pounds, whatever, 15, but to fight a big fish in the river system, in the current, and have a big battle. And that is, around here, that is the only kind of fish that you're going to find that gets to that size to be able to have that kind of fight. And I enjoy the sitting and waiting.
I don't know if you're fishing the Mississippi and the Ohio, you don't know what you're getting necessarily. I'm just saying, bull sharks can work their way up there.
Yeah, they can. But, I haven't seen one yet. And as far as what should be here, blue cat, flatheads, those are going to be the biggest fish that are up here. Other than sturgeon, I don't know how big the regular sturgeon get that are in our river system. I have seen some sturgeon here that were 5 foot long, but I don't know if the sturgeon that we have in our river systems get as heavy as like the white sturgeon up north and out west.
Well, you got muskie as well, and gar.
You got gar. I don't know if you got muskie in our. I don't think we have muskie in our river systems.
You'd be surprised. That's what I'm saying.
It could be, but I think that's more of a northern fish with colder water. Now, I may be totally wrong because I've never fished for them, nor have I caught them.
I've not fished for them. I've not caught them either.
I would just think in the amount of time that I spend fishing each year in the various places that I do fish, types of water, state waters, river systems, creeks, ponds, that if there's a type of fish that's around there that's a predator, I would think I would have pretty much caught him. At least caught one.
Maybe not.
I did catch, there is a little creek that runs off of the state watershed in Polk County, southern Illinois, that in that creek system, I did catch a very small fish, about 6 inches long, on a very tiny 32nd ounce jig. I was just walking just a little swift water. This is about 10 years ago. And I just remembered this is why I even bring it up. And it was shaped like a muskie, but it was like fingerling size, and it had stripes down the side of it. And I looked that up, and this may be a totally stupid name, but it seemed like when I looked that up back then, it was a hybrid called a muskellunge or something like that the state was trying to introduce into places. Now, it was not saying it was introducing it into southern Illinois, but
it made it there.
I caught that fish in that creek system
like
somewhere. It looked like what was in that picture. Now, I don't know.
Tell you what, all I could think about right now is how I'd love to have a nice little salt gun that I would love to kill this fly that's buzzing around this room right now.
And fly's your friend.
That fly's not. That fly comes from Satan, the Lord of the Flies. He can have all his flies. They're annoying.
That's a big old fly, too.
It's a big fly. I just want to shoot this thing.
I was afraid he was going to pack you off a minute ago.
He probably
I didn't know whether you were sneezing or shooting at him, one or the other.
I was taking aim, buddy.
I tell you, I've got a lot of great memories of bass fishing in them cypress sloughs.
Listen, I don't mean to cut you off again, but now I gotta ask: have you never used a salt gun on a fly? It's so satisfying.
No.
You ought to give it a try. It's very satisfying.
If we weren't where we were, I would suggest a 410. But
Yeah, well,
we could really get in a little bit of trouble.
you gotta make do with what you got
We actually
in the environment you're in.
we did carry those the last several years at our establishment that we work at.
I had them when I worked at the sawmill because those horse flies were ridiculous in that mill.
What kind of range you get?
Not very good. Especially if you're trying to take out a horsefly, you need to get really close.
I would think so. You could really tick him off quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you get a grain of salt in his eye and tick him off. He's coming back for vengeance.
I hate flies.
I do too.
hate flies and mosquitoes. Although I don't get bothered as much by the mosquitoes.
That's because you're not very sweet.
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
Yeah, I get eaten alive because I'm sweet as I can be.
Because I'm sweet as an apple pie. Yeah. Okay.
No, actually, I do not get eaten up because I carry my thermocell everywhere.
This is not a sponsored plug.
It's not, but let me tell you, if you don't own a thermocell, you go buy you a thermocell.
I got, when we had them on clearance, one of those iSonic Joys that emit the frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also doubles as a speaker. I've not got to try that yet. Because I bought it after season. And now they're coming. I'm going to try that this year.
Yeah, I've never tried that, but I have 2 different thermocells. I keep one in my hunting pack and I keep one in the tackle box. Well, mainly in my catfish box.
Sorry, continue.
Because I do a lot of catfishing at night and the mosquitoes are so bad at night.
Yeah. I love
And
fishing at night.
Early season, there's 2 different farms that I hunt on that are really bad with mosquitoes that are in creek bottoms. That it would really be rough without the thermocell. But that miraculously, it was crazy to me. I'd heard about those things, and several years ago I bought one. And man, you turn that thing on, and it's just like you put up a barrier around you, and it don't bother the deer one bit. It's an amazing thing to have.
It's an incredible invention.
Mm-hmm.
When do you think, when are we going to go fishing and shoot some videos?
As soon as I get a Kentucky license, or
well, I guess that makes sense. I kind of forgot about that little barrier.
I'll probably buy my Kentucky fishing license this weekend, and in 2 weeks you'll be available to get your Illinois license.
Yeah.
So, and then we will
go fish the river,
or go to my secret spots.
Oh,
I don't know how much videoing we can do there though, because it'll really give it away. I can't have it give it away.
I don't know if we give it away. We don't have to
give it
take.
away.
We just take tight shots, not far away.
Yeah.
It's not like we got a drone out there mapping the place.
Yeah, we ain't gonna map the place. I tell you that for sure.
We're just focused on the water and what we're catching.
Okay, I might get a stepladder, just stand above you the whole time, pointing out. I wouldn't give up that place for nothing.
I don't think you need a step ladder.
Yeah,
We got tripods with extenders.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate that over the years I've made friends with a lot of landowners, and a lot of those landowners have given me access to take my family to some amazing places, and I'm going to take you to an amazing place.
I can't wait.
And you'll be blindfolded from the time you leave Kentucky.
I don't care. Just put me on some fish.
Oh, you'll be on fish.
Put me on some fish.
It is every cast. Every cast.
That's a little too cold around here.
Yeah, well,
not like it's not there.
We have been wearing them out for 2 weeks. Absolutely wearing them out. catching anywhere from, I took both of my grandkids the other day, and between the two of them, they caught 26 or 27, something like that. A bass, bluegill.
How many have you caught?
Probably in the last 2 weeks, I've probably caught 75, 80.
So probably more realistically around, you times that by 10, so about 7 or 8. I mean, you are a fisherman after all.
No, that'd be literal. That'd be literal. Yeah, no, that would be literal.
How many catfish have you caught?
I haven't went catfishing but once.
Because it's boring. So you're like, hey, you know what? I want to actually catch fish.
No, because I can't get to where I need to go.
It's like, nah, I need to go actually catch some fish. So you know what? I'm going to go bass and crappie fish and just do some pan fishing.
Yeah, I love my pan fishing. I would rather pan fish than just about anything.
I would love crappie. Just the taste of crappie. Amazing.
Yeah, they're really good. We had crappie over the weekend that were fresh. We've really been. Of course, I haven't kept all of those fish, but we kept the crappie and we kept some of the big bluegill, and I love big bluegill.
Oh, bluegill's good. Crappie's just. I just think crappie's the best fish you can get.
Crappie's as good as you can go. Yeah,
pretty close. I think. Let's shift gears for a second. Because most of the time we're out fishing and you see that, especially at the place I've been going to, and you see the woods around you and the opportunity for deer. What do you think? What opportunities do you have this year for, what do you think the deer? Dang, I don't even know what I'm trying to ask. We're just going to cut that out because I lost my train of thought.
Okay, we can go to that maybe tomorrow.
What?
We're getting kind of long in the tooth anyway.
26, 27. So have you found any sheds this year?
I have only looked once. I've really been having a lot of trouble with my legs and my hips. That it's very disheartening, but it has really kept me from getting out and looking. A lot of the places that I went, the one time that I did get out, and it was early.
Disappointing, huh?
It was very disappointing that people had already trespassed on that property.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw really quick that maybe this is not going to be the year that I'm going to find 75 or 100 sheds because it just hurts too much to walk.
Yeah.
So, it's another limitation that I'm facing that it's just a card that's been dealt, and it's what I'll deal with. It's always been one of my favorite things. Even for a long time, I considered it more fun than deer hunting because I could continue to find that antler off that deer for years to come.
Yeah, and you start to build a story with the deer you could potentially take the next year or that year.
But now, it really bothered me early, like a month ago, because right now is when I find the most antlers every year.
End of March.
This week. And the thought of not getting out and going, a few weeks ago, it was really bothering me. But
teared up a little bit, didn't you?
I did. Because it makes you really realize that there are going to be times in your life that you have to change your priorities, and we've talked a lot about priorities before, but there's going to be times that you just can't do something, whether it's physically or you can't do something because of other priorities, or there's going to be things that you may want to do, but you can't do it, and it's okay. Yeah,
shifting your priorities is a good thing.
It is not
depending on if it goes from
right.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to get at with that is, if it had been prior to this year, I probably would still be really upset that I'm not shed hunting.
Yeah.
But I'm justifying it in my head that it's just an antler that's laying there. It's not, something that's going to make my family's life richer because I find it.
It doesn't bode as much importance as other things in your life right now.
So, and if for some reason tomorrow I wake up and my legs don't hurt, I can go walk. I can go look. But if tomorrow my legs hurt, I can come. I try to save my steps anymore for work.
Yeah.
Because it's something that I have to do for my family.
Priority.
And then that's another reason that I like to catfish is because I get to go and just sit. And a lot of the fishing that I do now, even with the pan fishing, I do from a lawn chair. And where I don't have to stand, I don't have to walk. It's just something that's happened, and I can't really do anything about it. So it's just, I've got to deal with it.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to, I'm taking the boys. I told them I'm taking them fishing, all three of them.
There you go.
This weekend. I may just end up taking them out to the woods too and going shed hunting.
Yeah. You need to take some nerve medicine before you do either one.
Oh, gosh. I got something for that. Anyways, all right, we'll wrap this thing up. Thank you all for joining us again. As always, we appreciate your support. We appreciate you following us, liking what we do. And if you do enjoy any of the content, please, by all means, share it and give us a rating on Spotify and all the podcast platforms, whatever you use. Thanks again, and we will
See ya.
be back in the next one.
God bless
you.